Welcome to How to Work on Acting at Home, Part 4. Character work. Do you spend most of your energy working on your lines for upcoming projects, but are at a loss for other things that you can do at home to help you prepare to show up to the set? In this video, I will share a handful of helpful exercises that will help you fully flesh out your character. So there is so much more that goes into character work than just memorizing your lines and working on your scenes. There are amazing exercises that you can do at home that can help you flesh out your characters. Now, before I get into these exercises, let me stress that these are exercises that should be explored all the time, whether or not you have an upcoming project or a job coming up. These exercises are wonderful things to return to over and over again with different characters as a way to develop and strengthen your craft. Don't just reserve these exercises for when you actually book work. Every actor should always, and I mean always, be working on a character. Now that I gave my 2 cents, the first exercise for character work is called a character private moment. This is an exercise that I always recommend the actor begin with to start exploring their characters. So I have an in-depth explanation of this exercise in a previous video called How to Create Privacy as an Actor. And I recommend you check that out for more information and a more in-depth explanation of this exercise. What you're ultimately doing in this exercise is it gives you an opportunity to take the character out of the script, take the character out of the scenes, and place them into their private universe. All you need for this exercise is a space, most likely a private space, which is perfect for being at home, and you need your imagination. The other thing that's really great about this exercise is that it allows you to really treat the character as a 3-dimensional human being. So what would it be like to place yourself into the circumstances of the character, into the world that they are living in their given situation, and place them into their privacy without any obligation to performing or doing a scene or going to an emotional thing, and just allow yourself to set aside 15 minutes or a half hour and live and breathe in the character. Allow yourself to have character thoughts and impulses, and the goal is to give yourself the space not only to humanize the character, but also to discover something about their vulnerability. Because ultimately the idea of a private moment is that the character comes in from the outside world, and when they close the door, their public persona comes down and their vulnerability comes out. And this is what the private moment is set up for you to learn more about, is the character's need and vulnerability. The other powerful thing about doing the character private moment exercise is that you're automatically creating a memory just by sheer nature of doing the exercise, something that will stay with you always. And your connection to what happened in the private moment or what you felt in the private moment will always be inside of you, which will help you maintain your connection to the character at all times. What's great about that is your relationship to the character is not just limited to the scenes that you have in the project or the lines. Your connection to the character is more 3-dimensional and more organic. Now, once you've done the character private moment and you have that under your belt, the second recommended exercise after you do the private moment is something that's referred to as the animal exercise. Basically, the animal exercise is something that helps you find an element of character So when we talk about animal, it's not a literal thing. It's not a theater game type of thing when we talk about animal work. It's much more intricate and delicate, and it's very magical. So in other words, when you look at your character, we all have a sense of who the character is when they go out in the world and when they're in their public persona. The animal is a reflection of this public persona. So when we look at our character, the first thing we try to do when we decide upon an animal is we try to feel something about the public persona and what kind of animal does that remind us of. Once we've made that determination, we then incorporate the animal as a sensation, not like putting it on like a suit, but it's more like a feeling and a sensation that we have to humanize and make it into human behavior, but the sensation of the animal influences that behavior, and it helps the actor transform. I'm working on my in-depth explanation of the animal exercise, which will be released in a future video, so stay tuned. The animal exercise that you do at home is similar to the private moment, but it is actually called a daily activity. So basically what you're doing is you're setting up the circumstances of the character and the privacy of the character. You're incorporating the layer of the animal as a sensation, and then in character you're going to wake up or go to bed, and in that framework you should eat food, you should groom, and you should play. All three of these activities should have elements of the animal in there, but you're trying to humanize them. When the animal is incorporated well, it is an extremely useful tool for every actor. Now, the third exercise is something called a previous circumstance exercise. So for a previous circumstance exercise, you can look at any moment in the storyline of the script, and you can look at a significant moment for your character in the material, or a significant transition or a big scene that you have to get ready to do. And in addition to working on the scene itself and working on the lines and personalizing that scene, at home you can focus on not the scene itself, but you can focus on the previous circumstances to that scene. In other words, was your character in another room before the scene happens? Was your character at home 5 minutes before the scene happens? Was your character sitting in the car on the way to where the scene happens? Basically, that's what the previous circumstance exercise allows you to do, is to stretch beyond the boundaries of the scene, and at home, by yourself, you can give yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes to live in the previous circumstances that the character is living in before the scene happens. This is a very powerful tool that can serve you extremely well when you show up to the set. For every scene that you do, when the director says action and the camera is rolling, you always must have some kind of connection to what has just taken place before the director says action. A previous circumstance exercise can help you build a belief system about what just happened before the first moment. Now, these are 3 examples of character exercises that you can work on at home in addition to working on your lines and your scenes. There's not just 3. There are many more that I will definitely share in future videos, but I hope this gets you started and gets you inspired. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website as well as our free weekly newsletter. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.